Xenos Rampant, and we've got a new table. They're not Xenos, they are Le Garde Imperiale. We've got 3 units of heavy infantry. They all have, obviously, their increased size. We're going with fire teams of 10 this time. The little special units there, like the little guy with the flamethrower, and there's a sniper guy right there. See the guy with the sniper? They don't really mean anything. All of these guys have AP armor piercing, which means they reduce the armor of whoever they're shooting at by 1, and it's just, squad support weapon. So that's all that is. And then our vehicle is a heavy skimmer, so they ignore terrain. And I did purchase the artillery upgrade. It's slow, so we got a little, see, and he is actually a skimmer. What I did here, this is kind of a fun little tip. This is one of those clear plastic wall hooks. I just shaved down the hook part, snipped it off, and now look at that. I got a little clear base for like $1 at the $1.50 store. He has all of the usual, except he, what did I do? Oh, yeah, that's it, just skimmer. Oh, and he's slow. So that way I can cram all of this into 23 AP. By the way, Lieutenant McNeely here, he is in charge of the entire platoon. You can tell he's McNeely because he's kneeling down. So that's going to be our main leader. Let's take a look at the OP4. And these are the Thunder Sons. The figures in the back here, the little shorties, are Sons of Thunder from Rebel Minis. The guys up front are from, where are these guys from? Alternative Armies. I think it's part of the Space Viking line. And then we have a Hassle-Free Miniatures Grimmin Battlesuit guy. It's actually a 28mm figure, but man, look how good he looks as a battlesuit for your 15mm Space Dwarves. Oh, the other guys are all Rebel Minis, by the way. The Le Garde Imperiale. We're looking at a squad of heavy infantry, 4 squads of light infantry, and a light walker. Now, it's a heavy vehicle, but then I purchased light, so it's a light heavy vehicle. He has blades. He is slow. There's veterans in there, and I think that's about it for him. What did I buy? Oh, my heavy infantry does have fire support, so he can rain artillery down on whomever. And then our light infantry, in order to make the points work out, I bought Undisciplined. They have a courage of 5 up, and then I bought heavy weapons and assault, which just changes their profile a little bit. And everybody here is slow, so they're only going to be moving 2 inches. This light vehicle only moves 6 inches. So the fastest guy is moving 6 inches, but remember I'm gaming at half size because it's 15mm. So they're only going to be moving at 2 inches and 3 inches for the walker. I feel like I'm missing something here. Oh, because this guy is veteran, he can move and shoot without the -1 penalty. Today we're going to pick our battle directly from page 94 in the rulebook. The red die is the first die, evens and odds. It's an odd number, odd 5. We are going to be doing the Orbital drop. Note, we have a new Ash Wastes battle mat. This is t-shirt fabric. I got a 6 foot by 6 foot square of it at the old Wally World, $6. We now have an alien jungle, and I want to show you what I did. I don't like the generic look of the aquarium plant, so what I did is I threw some larger kind of honeycomb. I love the texture on this styrofoam. If you paint it up yellow, same color as the base here. Throw a couple of genuine rocks and a little bit of alien grass tucked in there. This is what is this called? It's from Vallejo. They make a series of these tufts as well. Kind of punches it up, makes it look a little bit nicer. One piece of advice I'd give to you, when you go to buy these aquarium plants, make sure you're buying the 2-tone. You can see this is red and green. Don't buy the ones that are single tone. This purple one looks really fake because it's only one color. If you can get the 2-tone, like this, and this guy's just purple as well, so he's no good. And then I did get some like sparkly green ones to throw in there as well. So it looks pretty nice. I really like it. We have a command bunker that's right here. I need to find out who the attacker and the defender are, and we do have a perimeter barricade there. So let's roll. We're going to do red for the red-eyed guys. That's Le Garde Imperiale, and then blue for the purple guys. The Sons of Thunder are attacking. The Thunder Sons are going to try to drive the defenders out of that bunker. If the Thunder Sons are in the bunker at the end of the game, and we're going to do the same thing we did in the last game, at the beginning of turn 6, we're going to roll a d6, add the turn number, and if that number is 12 or greater, it's the last turn of the game. Remember, this is a heavily built bunker. We're going to give these guys are going to have an increased armor of 2. I only have the commander shown. The entire unit is in there, and then I have the unit off board, and I'll be pulling casualties off to remind me of where we're at. So that's going to be the goal. Try to have your units in the command bunker at the end of the game. The Thunder Suns started by putting one of these drop tokens down. They chose 1, so the odd numbers were selected by the Sons of Thunder. The even numbers were selected by the La Garde Impériale. On the first turn, the setup is a little bit complicated with this one. On the first turn, before we do that, we're going to roll for some preliminary orbital bombardment. We have to roll an 8 up. We get 3 chances to roll 8 up. For every success, we get to roll a D10 attack against 1 unit. This was a little close. It needs to be 3 inches away from the nearest unit, and it needs to be 3 inches away from the table edge. We're actually going to go ahead and drop it over on... On further review, this is too close to that unit. It needs to be 4.5 inches away from all the other drop markers, 3.5 inches away from the table, 3 inches away from the nearest unit. So we moved it over to this side. La Garde Impériale wants the Thunder Suns as far away from that command bunker as possible. That being the case, we're going to try to eliminate this unit. If the Thunder Suns wind up dropping down, we want to clear these guys out. So with the first bombardment, we are going to get a hit. So we roll 10 dice, and we are looking for 4s. The heavy infantry have an armor of 3. So we get 1, 2, 3 hits altogether, and that eliminates 1 guy. That forces a morale check at -1. And with a 7, they are fine. Now, I don't know where they would run in the case of an orbital bombardment. I don't know where you retreat to. I'll have to take a look at the fire support rules. Since they passed, I'm not going to worry about it. Now, that is 1 attack. And one mistake that I made in my previous video, morale penalties from shooting attacks do not stack. In other words, you only have a -1. Even if they'd already taken 4 hits, they would only have a -1 from that attack. Second orbital bombardment. An 8. They get a second shot at these guys. And with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they will eliminate 2 more dudes. And I'm just going to take the little mooks out. We're going to leave the specialists in there. Now this is going to be at -2 this time. And with a 10, they're going to be fine. And then we have 1 more shot with that orbital bombardment, and a 7 means they miss. So they are able to do 3 wounds to this unit right here. And the jig is up. They know the attack is coming. The next order of business is to drop 1 unit. And in this case, we are going to drop somebody sticky. What do you say we drop that heavy walker to draw aggro? On turn 1, the walker is going to drop into action. We roll a d6, and he can appear anywhere within 1.5 inches of number 1. Kablow. So he's going to drop in right here. That is his move action. The next thing we're going to do is try to bring on a unit of light infantry. They have a free move, but because they're reinforcements, we need to roll a 5 up in order to bring them on the table. And they're all the same. So we roll, and one of them is going to come on, and we'll roll a different colored die to see which point they come in on. These guys, the first squad, is going to drop in within 1.5 inches of marker number 2. In fact, I'm just going to put them right on it. And that is their activation for this turn. We have a second squad of light infantry who is going to fail, and that's going to end the turn for the Thunder Suns. That's the end of turn number 1. Well, I'm sorry, that's the end of the top. That would be the top half of turn number 1, using baseball terminology. Now the defenders get to go. We will start out with our free actions. Our commander gets a free shot at this guy. Their shoot action is right off the bat. Heavy infantry, they have AP armor reduced by 1, meaning that this walker's armor is now only 4. He does still need to make his attack, and that means he is hitting on 5s. He gets a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But he actually gets a total of 6 hits altogether, which is enough to penetrate the armor, and that does 1 wound to the walker. So we'll give him 1 little wound marker there. He's going to have to make his gut check. Let me just double check. The walker's armor is normally 5, but because he's being attacked by armor piercing, it becomes 4, and that's good. So he has to make a courage check against a courage of 3. He is at -1 for the wound. 7 will pass. Then the big boy is going to... Now, he can shoot 360 degrees. We're going to go ahead and reverse back. Well, let's see. If we... This guy is in cover. See, he's behind some somewhat blocking terrain. So the question becomes, where do we want to move this guy? And I think given the fact that he has... We've got 3 drop zones. I'm going to move him his 3 inches. Remember, he's very slow to here. And then he can still take a shot at the walker. Remember that vehicles can move and shoot. And because... But, oh, you know what? I forgot, though. You have to make a move action, a successful move action to do that. So a little bit of a high risk here. He moves on a 6 or better. We're going to take it. Oh, and he doesn't move at all. That's the end of turn number 1. Mr. Walker here does have high power blades. That reduces the armor of the guys inside the bunker by 1 for attack purposes. The issue now is, do we want to use his free action to move? I don't think so. I think we're happy with where he is, and I think we just go ahead. Now, he can move and shoot. I'm starting to reconsider dropping him right into the heart of the action there. If we shoot, we need a 6 up. So before we do that, let's go ahead and run these Sons of Thunder 2 inches over here. We're going to try to escape from being shot at by these guys. We're going to try to get around to here where we can start taking shots into the bunker. Then we're going to try to bring on our... Does anybody else have a... What's our lowest move? We can bring our leader down. Let's do that. Our leader needs a... Well, everybody needs a 5 up in order to move. Let's bring another unit of light infantry first. So we got it, and they're going to come on the board at number 2. Hey, that's great. I'm glad we cleared somebody out. So that's a move action for those guys. We're going to try to bring on our next unit of light infantry, and we're going to fail, and that's going to be the end of the turn. Ooh, that's unfortunate because it means that we get another free shot with these guys shooting at that light walker, and they get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not enough for 2 wounds, but it does knock our walker down yet another peg. He takes a morale check at -1, and with a 6, he will succeed. Now we're going to try to move and shoot with this guy again, and with a 6, we get it, so he'll be able to slide on up 3 inches to here, and then he can take a shot at the walker. He already passed his activation, so that shot is not at a -1 anymore. He is going to be shooting on 4 up. We missed one. And we get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, which, is that enough? Armor 5 for our heavy vehicle. Does he have... Oh no, you know what? Our skimmer has anti-tank. It reduces this guy's armor by half. Which means it's still only going to do 1, but it knocks him down to... All right, so he normally 5. Oh, you know what? He's at... Well, it doesn't matter, right? So he's at 6 because he's behind cover. Reduce it by half. That becomes a 3. We do 1 point of damage, and we have to make a morale check at -1. However, because he's at half strength, that -1 becomes... we are looking for... He's got a courage of 3. We need to roll a 4 or better. All right, so he'll stick around, but now he is only attacking at 5 dice per. Then we're going to try to activate these guys over here. Our heavy infantry have a free shoot action, and we are going to do it. We probably should have started that before. We're going to take a shot at the guys that you cannot see. They are only 3 inches away. We could go to ground instead. That might be a better bet. Because then their defense is pretty high. We're going to take the free shoot action. We get to roll 10 dice. We're looking for 5s. And these light infantry only have 2 wounds. So we should be able to plink a couple of them away. We are going to get a total of 1, 2, 3 hits is all. They lose 1 of the Thunder Suns. And we have to roll for morale check. That's dangerous. Light infantry have a courage of... Now, I bought undisciplined. They only have a courage of 5. 6 minus 5 means they stick around, but that was really close. Then we're going to do our... Did we already shoot with this guy? I can't remember. He did a free shot. He did his move and shoot, and then we're going to... Those guys are going to go to ground. And with a 7, they do. To remind myself, I'm going to put a purple gem down to remind me that these guys have gone to ground. That gives them an armor bonus of 1, so that if we have anybody appear in 4 and 6, they can start plinking away, and they don't have to worry about getting shot at themselves. We did these guys, 1, 2, 3, 4. They only have the 4 units, so we're done with turn number 2. We move on to turn number 3 now. And our Sons of Thunder are going to use their light infantry, are going to take their free move another 2 inches to here, and they're still not quite around this terrain. This is blocking terrain. One guy has a shot. Well, is it 1-to-1? I don't think so. I think they need to get around one more move. Then we're going to take these guys, and I think we're going to go ahead. Should we charge the heavy infantry? We are not. We're going to take a shot with these guys shooting at these guys, and we need a 6 or better to do that. Got it. They're not the best shots. These light infantry, boy, I tell you, they're really just kind of bullet sponges. I think sending a light infantry down to seize this compound might have been a mistake. But remember, the army lists were built before we knew what the scenario was going to be. So you have to go to war with the army you got. Only 1 hit means they will have to make a morale check, and because they're heavy infantry, the only way they're going to fail this is if they roll a 2 or a 3, which they do not. Now we have to figure out what our walker is going to do. And given the fact that he's only got 5 dice... We're going to leave him there drawing aggro. We're going to bring our leader on the board. Our heavy infantry are really the only guys I think that have a shot at knocking the Guard Imperial out of there. Good news is they do show up on the board, and where do they show up? Number 3, they're going to drop right over here. So we'll drop our commander, and we're going to get as close as we can to this missile tank because we are done. And unfortunately, we're going to have to kind of cruise around the rough going. You can shoot across it, mind you, so that may be a viable option. If we can drive him out, maybe we can run up through the middle. But we also have the option of, so we moved these guys, we took a shot with, did we take a shot with these guys yet? We have not. Let's go ahead and take another shot at over here. And with a 5, do we shoot? We do not. That ends the turn. We are on to turn number... No, we're not on to turn number 4 yet. These guys get to take a shot, free shot at the walker. And this time they only get 1, 2, 3 hits. That's not going to do it. Walker is fine. We'll use these guys to take a shot here. And heavy infantry do have the free shot. Looking for 5s. We only need to score pairs in this case. We get a total of 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5. So that will eliminate 2 more figures. They are now down to half strength. They have to make a morale check at -2. 6 minus 2 is 4. They only have a courage of 5, meaning they will retreat half a move, which is 1 inch, so not very far, and then they're going to have to rally on the next turn. Hence the red gem. We have fired with this guy and these guys, and now these guys can shoot down to here. But They are beyond the 9 inches. So the armor for these guys goes up to 3. This is rough ground. It slows you down. It does not provide cover. So the heavy infantry do get to take a free shot. Looking for 5s. We need 3 of them to eliminate a guy. Come on, die. What are we going to do here? I'm going to re-roll that one. Looking for 5s. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. That eliminates 1 of the stunties. That forces a morale check at -0 because the leader is there. And with a 10, they will be fine. That should... No, we got this guy too. He's going to take a shot at these little stunties, and he has to roll a 6 up to shoot. Now he's rolling, looking for 4s. And he gets a total of 1, 2, 3, which is enough to eliminate 1 more guy. And we make a morale check at -0, and they are good to go. And I think that's the end of the turn. We fired here, 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 and here. Not terribly effective, but neither have the stunties been. We are on turn number 4 for those guys. And let's try to bring another unit on the table. We need a 5 or... Well, no, we have to rally first, don't we? Rolling 1 die. On a 1 or a 2, they take off. So they're out of the fight. They've had quite enough of this. Thank you very much. Then we're going to move these guys to here. So they are no longer in line of sight of this unit. And they can start shooting at the bunker. They are within 9 inches, so we'll remember that when it comes time. This guy... Oh, no, we got to move our leader next, don't we? The leader has a free... Should we go to ground, up our armor by 1 more? Or should we just take the free shot at this guy? Let's take the free shot. We're hurting over here. Heavy infantry, they do get the free shoot. They are only hitting on 6s. Oh, my goodness. And they need to get... To hit that skimmer, they need to get... How many 6s? 6 of them? Yeah, I don't know whose idea this was. This is a terrible idea. They can't even charge this guy. They can't move and shoot. The only thing they can do is maybe go to ground, bump their armor up to 3, 4 for those guys. Can they even do that? Oh, you know what they can do? They can firefight. I haven't been doing any firefights. On a 7 or better, they could return fire at those guys. With a 7, they do, so they at least get to counterattack here. I think, though, it has to be the first guys that shoot at them. Was that those guys? Yeah, it was. So that counterattack, they do get to shoot, and their shooting is on 6s. And because those guys have gone to ground, oh, look at that. They wound up getting a total of, they only need 4, so that does eliminate 1 of these guys, and that does force a morale check. At 6 is going to be fine. All right, so where were we? Now these guys can take... Should we take another shot at those guys? Soften them up a little bit more? Or do we got to take out this guy? He's terrifying. Because we got to get 6 6s to even hurt that guy. That ain't going to happen. We got to go to ground. We got to get to cover. They are going to go to ground. That beefs their armor up a little bit, so that should give them a little bit more staying power. Now we need to bring on another unit. We've only got 2 more units of light infantry. This is going to need a 5 or better. They get it, and they are going to drop in on number 5, which may be good for them because they are behind the Zorg container. And we'll snug them up right there. That is going to be their activation for the turn. And then we have, so they've moved. This guy has, I don't know, do we even bother rolling? Let's turn and take a shot at these guys. We can still shoot. Maybe we can eliminate these guys as a threat. They are 9 inches away, and the walker does not have free shoot. He needs a 6 or better. And he fails. That's the end of the turn. Bunker takes the free shot. Whoops. Probably need a dice bucket here or a dice tray, huh? They take the free shot. They get a total of 1, 2, and really, is that it? You get 2 hits altogether, guys? That's not great. Not great. You're hitting on... Those heavy infantry are hitting on 5s, and they do no damage. But that does force a morale check. 3, he has a courage of 3, so he's fine. Remember, it didn't do any wounds, so you roll 1 die, and he does stay on the board. If he had failed that, it would have forced a retreat. But because there's -0 and there's no way to roll a 0, there's no way to drive him off. You actually have to do a wound for guys to run off the board, even the guys at half strength. All right, so yeah, keep soaking that damage, fella. Keep it up. And then he was right there. So they fired. Now we need to... They don't have a line... Well, if he fired at them... I forgot, they could do the firefight. On a 5, they don't. All right. So they're going to shoot back at him now. And they get a free shot. And we're going to give him a 1 bonus because he's kind of around the corner. He's a little bit hunkered down. Although I don't think it matters because they didn't get any 5s or 6s. That is a total miss. Bunker, these guys. These guys are going to take a shot at the leader. It's a free shot. They need to score. They are hitting on 4s. And they need to score... Now, it's armor of 3. At distances of 4. Hunkered down, they need 5 hits in order to do a wound. And that did no good. The last guy that's going to shoot is this guy. And he will only activate on a... Well, it doesn't matter. 3 is not high enough. He needs to roll a 6 to shoot. And that is going to be the end of turn 4. We are on to turn number 5, and I don't think it's going well for the Space Dwarves at all. We are going to try to bring on the last unit. We need a 5 or better. And we get it. Let's find out where they appear. Right next to our bunker. That may be not great. I put the number 1 here. In fact, we're going to drop him down right there outside the compound wall. Because the fence doesn't provide any cover. All it does is it costs an extra inch to get across. This guy is in the way. In fact, I guess what we have to do is kind of bring them around. Well, yeah, this is not good. This is a bad location for them. Because if they move here, they'll block line of sight from these guys who are protected for the moment. I guess our walker needs to run out of the way. Maybe he needs to get over here and start soaking some damage over there. In the meantime, but that's just the last unit on the board. So no more reinforcements. We don't need to worry about that. We do have a free shot here. Our heavy infantry are going to shoot at those guys over there. And because they're dug in, we need to score a total of 4 successes. But at least that heavy infantry is shooting on... We got to roll 4 6s? Are you crazy? So that's nothing. Our walker is going to... try to move and shoot. He needs a 6 or better to put... Well, let's... Light infantry. Why don't we go ahead and take the shot with them first? We need a 6 or better to do that, too. Well, yeah, let's bring him over there. On a 5, that's the end of the turn. Now it is the Guard Imperial's turn to defend. Free shot at the walker. Wait a minute, we're still on turn number 5, aren't we? Yes, we are. Free shot at the walker. And let's see if we can pull it off. We've been plinking away at him this whole game. He's just really sticky. Hitting on 4s, we get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is enough to do 1 more wound. He is going to have to make a courage check. And a 5 minus 1 is a 4. Towards a 3. He's okay. He does not retreat. Then we have a free shot at these guys. We need to score a total of 5. Well, does the walker have firefight? The walker does not. We're going to fire at these guys. And again, we need 4s, and we need to get a total of 5 hits in order to do any damage. We get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing doing. So we'll firefight back at them on a 7 or better. We do not. Then we have another unit over here who has, well, they do have a viable target right here. That target is within 9 inches, and it's a free shot. So we're just looking for 4s. And we get, that was the roll that they've been looking for a while. Armor of 2, they are going to score a total of 3 successes. And this squad appeared and just got raked. They got to roll 1 die at -3. 5 minus 3 is 2. They will retreat directly away from the firer, half their movement, which is 1 whopping inch. But they are suppressed. So we'll have to deal with that. And then we have the missile tank is going to take a shot at the heavy infantry down there as well. Needing a 6 to activate, he does. And he hits on 4s. They have an armor of 4, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's enough to take out one last little rifle dwarf. And now we are at -1 on this. 4 minus 1 is 3. The heavy infantry have a courage of 4, but they also have a leader, so they are at +1. So +1, -1, courage of 4. The 4 means they will stick around, but they are now at half strength. They have already done their firefight, so that's the end of the turn for La Garde Imperiale. We are now on to turn number 6, and we have to roll a d6. On a 6, this is the last turn of the game. It is not. The Space Dwarves do not have anybody else to bring onto the table, but we do need to rally these guys. Oh, wait. Oh, I got that wrong. We only roll 1 die, and on a result of a 1, they are going to fail to rally. They will move another inch, another half move, and then stay on the board, and that's important because they're blocking line of sight. They lose 1 point because they failed to rally. Now we need to figure out what are our best options here. We are going to take a shot at the bunker. We're still trying to crack into there. 6 will allow us to do so. They're going to be hitting on, what is that? Shooting light infantry. They shoot, they only hit on 6s, and they only get 1 hit, so that's nothing doing. And then our 5 unit, they need to, I don't know, what do we do? Should we, everybody else is like half strength. We'll shoot at that guy, I guess. I mean, on a 5 we fail, that's the end of the turn. Now the heavy boys are going to go, and since it's pretty obvious what's going on here, this is just not a great scenario for the Space Dwarves. Why don't we go ahead and take a shot at him? Well, we'll start with the free shot, the easy one. The guys in the bunkers, they still haven't lost any units. They're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, which will not crack the walker. Unless they... Oh, they have armor piercing. That does 1 more wound, and the walker now goes kerblooey. Thanks to the armor piercing. The La Garde Imperiale is just a much better force list, I think. Now, these guys have to fire at the nearest unit they can see. That's this guy here, unless they want to move. And why bother? So, oh, they get a free shot, actually. They just need to get a pair of 6s, and he's out of the fight. And then we're, like, into mop-up duty now, aren't we? That is a total of 12 points that are gone, so everybody has to make a morale check. These guys with a 5 pass, these guys with an 11 pass, and these guys with a 0... They have a courage of 4, and the leader makes 3. Because they rolled a 2, they're going to have to retreat an inch. They lose the benefit of having gone to ground, and they are shell-shocked. There you go. It's all just falling apart for them, isn't it? And then they, well, at least they can't be shot at by those guys anymore. Those guys don't have a viable target. They're just going to hang tight. This guy can shoot at him, though. On a 9, he will, and now they're not gone to ground, so they just have an armor of 3, and he's going to get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. Well, that eliminates 1 guy, and our leader has to make a morale check on a d6. He needs a 4 or better. It's at -1. Oh, you know, I think he's at -1 because he's suppressed as well. Let me check that real quick. Because the dwarves have lost half of their unit, all of their morale checks are at -1. This becomes a -2 with the leader. Goes up by 1, so it's a total of -1. 4 minus 1 is 3. He fails, and he is going to retreat. And because he suffered a retreat while he was suppressed, they lose 1 more point. Now that the leader is gone, everybody on the board has to make a morale check. That's these guys, and they are now at minus, well, they've made it, whatever it is. And then these guys are going to be at minus 1, that's a 4, and they're going to retreat. Where do you retreat to? I don't know, but they're suppressed. So we're just going to drop a suppressed marker on them. And then, what does that mean? Where are we at? We are on turn number, that was the last action. So now we're on to turn number 7. A 5 or a 6, this is the last turn of the game. And it will be the last turn. The dwarves get to go first. They are going to try to rally this unit, and they succeed. That's all he can do. And then they need to try to get into the bunker with these guys. They're not going to do it. They can't move and shoot regardless of what happens. That's going to be the end of the game. They are unable to fulfill their victory conditions because you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. These light infantry are terrible, and we're learning some valuable lessons about unit structure and detachment abilities. I think had the roles been reversed, if the Space Dwarves were on defense, they would have done a much better job defending this bunker than they did assaulting it. They really had no heavy assault capabilities except for 1 unit, and those guys unfortunately appeared as far away as possible. So the dice did not go the dwarves' way, and neither did the strategy, neither did the tactics, just a total wipe by La Garde Imperiale. Well done to the humans, human supremacy, uber alles. Till next time, I'm praying for you.